RedBeard Podcast is brought to you by these cool dudes.
And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Hey everybody, welcome to the RedBeard Podcast. It is Friday, and you are hanging out, as always, with Tony and my buddy,
Cooley.
What up, everybody? So, guys, this is actually our 4th of July episode, so happy 4th of July to everybody. You going to be doing anything cool on Independence Day, man?
That's a negative, buddy.
Nothing?
I don't know. Probably nothing. I don't know. I think we work a 9 to 5, so
yeah.
We got that 40-hour a week job. I signed on to get a little bit of extra time.
Yeah.
Right. So we'll see. I don't know. It all depends. We might have some fireworks going on.
Illegal fireworks?
Hey.
If they're illegal, they're fun.
Hey, Chief. You know what I'm saying over here? You just knock it off with the the call outs. You know what I mean?
No, but seriously, man, like illegal fireworks are the best kind because if they're not illegal, they're probably like really shitty. They're like sparklers.
Yeah, exactly. All the poppers.
Yeah, come over my house. We're gonna do fireworks. Here's a sparkler. Like I'm leaving. So no,
so,
man.
It's probably gonna be something like that going on. I don't know where though. That's the thing. I'm just kind of playing it by ear. We'll see what happens.
Well, I might actually be doing something in my backyard. So you're definitely welcome to come over. We're gonna be doing some fireworks. We got the fire pit going on. Probably grilling up some food. Because I actually have the 4th of July off.
Nice.
Because I'm coming back from New York on the 3rd, and I know I'm going to be exhausted, so I won't be working the next day. But
well, I'm pretty sure I'm working, but I'll make it a point like before or after to swing by.
I don't think you're going to be there that late.
All right.
So that's going to be dead. Anyway, so happy 4th of July, everybody. Hope you're doing something to celebrate our independence. But on that note, that is going to bring us into our first topic of the day, which is Independence Day 2, which I checked out and was sadly disappointed.
Yeah, I'm glad that you checked it out and I didn't because I get violently upset when I spend money on movies that disappoint.
Well, here's the thing, man. I knew I went with Jim Kelly. And Jim, that Independence Day, the first one, is his favorite movie of all time. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to check it out with him to see his reaction, and he's just funny as hell. So him cracking on it was amazing. But it sucked because you would want this movie, which has a 20 years later sequel, to be awesome,
right?
And it just wasn't, and it just kind of was a letdown. Like there's a lot of problems that I had with the film, and I think the first one was I will say this: there were parts that were entertaining, but the storyline dragged. Like it just didn't have enough. Like there wasn't any. They weren't packing any punches. It was just like they were doing things to do them. So my first problem was the guy or the actor who plays Will Smith's son, who's supposed to be kind of carrying on his legacy, was horrible. I mean, he literally was a pretty bad actor. And just like you didn't give a shit about his character. Like there was nothing to give a shit. And then you had, Hemsworth or whatever. Like his character was the main character, but there was nothing really that made me care about him. If he died, I wouldn't have cared.
Right.
There's another character who was supposed to be the comic relief, and he was just more. He wasn't funny. He was just annoying. Like you just wanted him to get killed off, so you didn't have to hear from him anymore. I was excited that Bill Pullman was in it, coming back as the ex-president or former president.
Right.
But he was treated like this insane old man. like you don't know what you're talking about. Like he's crazy, but the ships start coming in and he starts having like those brain attacks where he can't like function. He's like, and he just goes down.
Well, it's realistic. I mean, think about how people treat George Bush.
Yeah. Right. But I mean, if the one thing that
they treated him like that when he was president, but
right. But the one thing I didn't understand was it's like this guy was president when the aliens attacked for the first time. I mean, you can't deny anymore that we are not alone, right?
Right.
And he made this baller speech, which everybody at the beginning of the film, they're replaying the speech. You know, it like touched the hearts of everybody. And, you know, you would think that you might want to give this guy a little bit more clout when he's telling you that something's about to happen, and no one's listening to him. You know, except for a couple people. But then when, like, shit starts to happen, they're like, okay, maybe he's telling the truth. It's like, well, maybe you should have trusted him the first time. So they kind of treated him like this old man that you know, that nobody trusted until shit got real. And then you also had Dr. Oaken, played by Brent Spiner, which is actually probably one of my favorite characters the entire time. I mean, Brent Spiner brought it. Like, he was Dr. Oaken. He was just like he was in the first movie. I mean, he was awesome. But the only thing that Jim and I did not understand was, if you're familiar with the first movie, he gets grabbed by the alien and slammed up against the glass. And they're like, and, you know, the president's like, can there be peace between us? And it's like, peace, no peace.
Yeah.
Then they break down the windows, and then they go over and take the tentacle off his throat, and they put their hands to his throat, and he's dead. But somehow in this movie, he didn't die, and he's been in a coma for 20 years. So I was like, okay, like, that was weird. Like, I guess he didn't have a pulse, but did, and was in a coma. So that was a little strange, but I was like, okay, suspension of disbelief. I'll just accept that he wasn't really dead and somebody doesn't know how to take a pulse. So, but he's been in a 20-year coma, and when the aliens arrive, he wakes up from his coma, right? But for a guy that's been a 20-year coma and hasn't moved out of bed for 20 years, he was pretty mobile. like he's running around. Like, you haven't used your muscles for 20 years. There's no way you're like running around like a mad scientist. Like, you wouldn't be walking. So, you know.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, those things were just, I feel like, were severely overlooked. And the aliens at one point like grabbed one of the guns and was like firing a gun. I'm like, this is just stupid. But I don't know. So it just didn't. It wasn't. The pacing of the movie was just off. I just feel like it was another sequel that they threw together. They last minute to try to make it happen.
Look, some things don't need a sequel, and
Well,
that's what
that's the
Hollywood.
thing.
That's what Hollywood needs to realize is, like, you know, like, it came from outer space, didn't get a sequel, didn't need it.
Well, and I think that's the problem is that they
War of the Worlds.
Yeah, you don't need a sequel.
I mean,
for
War
that.
of the Worlds 2? Really?
No.
And that's basically what Independence Day was. It was like War of the Worlds without the subterfuge. You know what I mean? Like, they weren't
Right.
they weren't hiding underground and shit. They literally just came from outer space and tried to annihilate us. The same, but with War of the Worlds, they had that they were underground, they were waiting, and then they waited for their chance, and then they finally like decided to, you know, spring the trap and like try and take us over. So same concept. Like, at the end of the day, you don't need part 2 of that shit. Like,
No, I don't think this movie ever needed a sequel. I thought it was awesome the way it was, and it's kind of the, you know, I get that gut feeling when these movies come out, like, ooh, this could be bad, and there's no way that the Independence Day 2 is going to live up to the first one. There's just no way, and they left it open for a third, like blatantly left it open for a third. You know, like at the end of the movie is like, oh, let's go kick some alien ass. And like that was literally the end of the movie. And I'm like, okay, so now they're going to be a third one when this one, I don't know if there's going to be a third after the box office sales and reviews on this one. Unless they're trying to just make it into a trilogy. But I think Will Smith saw the script for this one and was like, yeah, I think I'm good. You know, like
Right.
I think he made a wise decision not to be in it. I mean, they did pay homage to his character where they're in the White House and you see like a poster of him. I was like, okay, that's cool. You know, like at least his face was in the movie. But apparently, it's said that, you know, his father died, or that Will Smith's character died in a plane crash, like exercise, like a test fly or whatever. So
it's homage. By the
yeah.
way.
Oh, what did I say?
Homage,
homage, whatever. Same. Okay. So yeah, cool. Whatever. I think people got it. But yeah. So I just thought it was weak. The best character in the movie was a toss-up between Dr. Oaken and Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum killed it. His Goldblum's father, that character was not even necessary in this movie. It was just there, served no point. There's just a lot of things were just loose. They were there to be there with no point. So I don't know. And if you guys want another review, definitely check out the Independence Day review on Kavanaugh's Corner, where he goes a little bit more into it, which I pretty much agree with his review completely. So check it out. If you guys are diehard fans, you might want to check it out. But if you just are like, Independence Day was good, don't go see the movie. Anyway, moving on. You saw a movie last night, which I also saw. Talk about it, man.
We're talking about The Conjuring 2, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, it was a damn good movie, man.
Yeah.
It was scary. And not scary like I can't go to sleep after I leave this thing scary, but scary like roller coaster scary, like you jump a lot. Because James Wan is a master at making you like jump out of your seat.
Yeah.
Right? No matter, even if you expect it, like it's like, because you're like, oh yeah, something's gonna happen. Oh shit, something happened.
Yeah.
Right.
But he makes you feel subconsciously like you're there because of the camera angles. It's almost like you don't realize it, but you have a first person view, or you're like the buddy of the guy that you're following.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
right.
You don't think about it, but you're like forced to be put in that position.
Yeah, and not only he doesn't only put you in the position. Sometimes he puts you in the position of the entity.
Yeah.
Or the thing that's like, and that's really cool too, because you're like, oh, there's definitely something coming because I'm moving in that thing's footsteps. You know what I mean? That was really cool. He's awesome. His directing is spot on and perfect. The visuals were amazing. I mean, like he knows. He walks that fine line between cool and scary. Because let's be real. Like I mean, like when you think of like the cool like heavy metal era demons and ghouls and like just like the black makeup and stuff like that, like most of his demons and most of his like creatures have that look. You know what I mean? Like, long sharp fangs, claws, spindly, weird looking, but not like it's. Who knows if that's what shit really looks like? But I mean, it's
right.
like it's what looks. It's like I could take his shit and put it on a T-shirt, and it would just look fucking awesome. It's like Iron Maiden would probably use it as a mascot. Like,
right. But
at the same time, it's still scary. It's not. You don't look at it and you go, "Oh, that's cool. I'd like to have that in my room." No, you would not want to have that in the same room with you. It's awesome. I don't know if I'm making sense, but
no, it makes complete sense, and I think that he did a great job with. Kind of doing the same thing. I mean, if you've seen Jaws and you're familiar with that movie, then you know exactly what I mean. It was scary, and you basically never saw the shark.
Right.
And this was with this movie. I mean, there were definitely times where you saw what he wanted you to see, but for the most time, there's a presence in the room, and you can't see it, and that is even more scary.
Right.
I need some spoilers here, but I mean, I think the one thing that kind of freaked me out was when the kid's playing with the toy fire truck. And then he pushes it into the tent, and it comes back out. But then you just hear, like, this loud yell. That scared the shit out of me. And I didn't know, because it was just so unexpected. I thought I was going to see a face, but you just hear a voice, and you're like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like,
yeah.
Even Don was like, Don goes, that's when I'd be moving. And I was like, yeah, I'm out, dude.
But
but it followed him anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. Like, if it's a demon, it can latch onto you.
Yeah.
Scariest movie I ever saw was when I was a kid. It was called The Haunted, and it was like a TV movie. Mm-hmm. And the end of the movie was like they move into a new house, and like everybody leaves except the mother, and then the mother like sees this like black haze, and like that like it's in the new house, and it ends, and I'm like, that sucks. And that's based on a true story too. So I mean, like, it followed them. That's all.
Dude, I love the old man.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was a cool character. Let alone like a cool villain or entity or spirit or ghost or whatever. I just thought as a character it was it was cool.
Yeah, it was, and it was a cool twist
because
too.
it had a personality.
Right, it did.
Usually you have these entities and these things like that, but they don't really have a personality. They're just there to scare you and provide that shock.
Well,
right, that shock factor.
Well, that's like The Conjuring. It was more of just like a straight demon, but it didn't really have a personality.
Yeah.
whereas the demon was controlling the old man,
right?
The spirit of the old man, which was really weird. Did you stick around at the end of the credits and hear the real audio?
Yeah,
that's creepy as shit. And also, I didn't research this, but if she died in that same chair, that's fucking weird. Like, that's creepy. And that I don't know how I feel about that. Like, I gotta actually research it. Why would she die in that same chair?
Yeah.
Get rid of that chair, dude. I would have tossed it.
Oh, yeah, that chair would have been gone. The minute I found out that the guy died in that chair, that chair would be gone.
Yeah, no one sits in
Actually, all of the furniture in the house would be gone, and I would... Well, everything in the house was probably gone anyway because it got smashed or destroyed or whatever. But I would have gotten rid of everything, right down to every and just refurnish the whole house.
I don't even understand.
Except for they were poor, so.
But why would they even stay there after that? That's just a house of bad memories for me, or like an apartment. I would have been out of there, like just all set. There's just so much shit that happened in that house. I wouldn't be able to distance myself from it.
Again, I don't think that they had the money to move.
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't think anybody was going to come through and provide it for them. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was a time where people actually believed hardcore in what was happening and felt for them. That other woman actually had proof that the girl was doing it all herself. So I don't think anybody had sympathy.
Right.
So I don't think anybody was going to come through and be like, "Oh yeah, we'll help you move." Right. And I guarantee you that her neighbor, the woman across the street, was probably pissed off because they quote unquote proved that the girl was faking.
Right.
Right. Unless maybe not.
Maybe but then not. At the end, after everything happened,
because that guy was her husband, right?
Yeah.
The big guy that took 5 hours to axe down the door.
That was, that was the husband of the next door neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So he was in on it. So they must have believed that whatever was happening. But at the same time, it's I don't know. I just don't think anybody cared enough to get them out of that house.
I mean, the interesting about the whole situation was, in the first Conjuring, because I personally know Andrea Perron, and obviously we've had an interview with her. Mm-hmm. The Warrens didn't necessarily save the day in that movie. In the real story, they were actually they tried to hold like a seance, and it was putting a lot of stress on the mother, so they got kicked out. They were asked by the father to leave. So I'm wondering, and I need to do some research on this, if the way this movie ended is the way it actually happened, because I'm reading a book written by Ed and Lorraine Warren called The Demonologist. If you guys haven't heard of it, you can get it on like Amazon. I think you can download it, but it's like $10. But it literally is like just their case files, and the Enfield haunting, which is this Conjuring 2 case, is in there, and they talk about it. And I'm kind of in the middle of it right now, so I'm interested to see if that's how it ended. But great movie, man. James Wan killed it again. I knew this guy was going places.
He's got another one coming.
Yeah, he does.
Did you see the trailer for it during this movie?
Yeah, it's the one Lights Out, right? Yeah. Lights Out is the one based on that short that went viral. It was actually the one where, if you guys haven't seen it, it was based on a French independent film that somebody did, and James Wan, I think, got the rights for it, picked it up. It was on Facebook and YouTube for a while. It's a woman in her apartment, and she shuts off the lights, and she sees a shadow of something, turns on the lights, it disappeared, and every time she shuts off the lights, it gets closer and closer. It's a full-length movie based on that short. And that looks phenomenal. And when I saw that he was directing it, I was like, oh, this is going to be kick-ass.
It's funny. All right. It hit me when you gave me the name of the movie, because I forgot the name of the movie. But shouldn't the name of the movie with the blind guy be called Lights Out?
Yeah.
And this one be called Don't Breathe?
I mean, yeah, but I think...
Yeah, right?
But I think Lights Out was actually the name of the short.
The short?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Don't Breathe, I think, is more because that guy's lights are always out.
Yeah.
But he can hear you breathe.
No, but then he puts the lights out for the other guys.
Yeah.
They can't see in the house or whatever.
I get it. But still, I think Lights Out for this movie, for the James Wan movie.
You hate that movie, huh?
I think it looks stupid.
Don't Breathe.
I think it looks so dumb. I mean, if you're looking to see a good movie about a blind guy, check out Blind Fury. That's actually a really good one. But I just don't buy it. Like, yeah, okay, the dude's got a gun, but it's like they could have taken him out all at once in the very beginning. But then,
they're
like,
kids. So, like, here's the thing.
They're like in their 20s, but I don't care. The dude's blind. 3 against 1 against the dude that can't see. you're going to be able to take that guy out. And like, I like how they just, all right, the lights. It's like a scene from the end of fucking Silence of the Lambs. Like, it, you know what I mean? It just looked kind of cheesy to me. Like,
to me, I feel like it didn't look totally out of the question because you have 3 kids. They're not hardened criminals. They're not like murderers and shit. Like I think Homeboy was like not even like wanting to kill this guy. He just was like, hey, ease off, guy, blah blah blah, right? We'll get out of here. And like they didn't expect him to just be like, like fucking, I'm gonna take this gun from you and shoot you in the head. Like that wasn't like a thing. And then once you do that, now these two are fucking petrified and scared. Like put yourself in the situation. I understand what you're saying. Like if it was you and me, the hardened criminals that we are, we would have destroyed that guy immediately. We would have been like, oh, let's just beat the shit out of this blind guy, right? But
yeah, I guess we would have, quote unquote, hey Cooley, let's beat the shit out of this blind guy.
But I think it's actually more realistic that they didn't beat the shit out of him immediately because they were just in there trying to get a quick score. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just the whole circumstances were a little unrealistic for me. But that for me, I'm so hard to judge when I see shit like that. I'm like, but it wasn't just me. It was like me and Don were both like, yeah, all right. So I don't know. Check out the trailer for Don't Breathe. Come to your own conclusions. I didn't really think it was pretty plausible, but
let us know. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But yeah,
anyway.
what was actually
James
next
Wan
on the list though?
Out. Well, I just want to say too. I knew James Wan was going places, man. When I saw Saw, like that was that was just so damn good.
Absolutely.
And then everybody was like, okay, who's this guy? Like, this, and that was such a low budget film.
Oh, and if you don't know, and I'm pretty sure I talked to you about this already, but for our listeners, if you don't know, James Wan is actually directing Aquaman, which makes me want to see Aquaman. Like I hate Aquaman.
You hated him in Batman v Superman.
Yeah, in that movie. I'm not a huge Aquaman fan in the comics, but I give him a lot more credit than what most people give him because he's not the stupid like guy that talks to fish. Yeah. It's not Super Friends. Super Friends was made for TV for little kids to get into on Saturday mornings. Most of the superheroes on that show they're not what they are on that show in the comics. Right. Like they're different. Like Wonder Woman is a brutal ass warrior, Amazon warrior woman that will like destroy anybody in combat. Yeah. Right. And that's not what you got on Super Friends. On Super Friends, you got some like woman flying around in an invisible jet, roping people up with a magic lasso, and that's pretty much the extent of what she could do. But nobody cracks on Wonder Woman. They just crack on Aquaman. Right. You know what I mean? Because nobody gave Aquaman a chance. Yeah. And I get it. I mean, it's weird because it takes, like, reading Aquaman or watching anything with Aquaman, it takes you out of your element because it's underwater. Nobody lives underwater. You're dealing with Atlantis. You're dealing with this alien territory where it's not like you can relate to him. Mm-hmm. So nobody gives a shit. So they just judge him based on Super Friends, and they're like, oh, he's stupid, but he's not a stupid character. Again, I'm not a huge Aquaman fan, so I'm not like totally defending him. But at the same time, the only reason why I'm not a fan is because I recognize that it's an alien world. Like I'm not into that kind of shit. Like I'm not into Atlantis. Mm-hmm. It's not my thing. It's not my cup of tea. Right. I want shit that I can relate to, and that's why I don't like him, not because he's a weak character. So I think James Wan is going to do a really good job with this because he's awesome he's just a very intelligent director. He's super smart, and I think he's going to make this shit work. Mm-hmm. So I'm real interested in seeing what he does with it.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that Aquaman, I was never like a huge fan, but I still think he's a cool character.
One more thing.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with James Wan or Aquaman, but it does have to do with the Conjuring when I went last night. When I went last night, I actually had to get up and go to the bathroom. And I thought this was a pretty funny story. I go in the bathroom and I'm standing there at the urinal and I'm doing my thing, right? Like, you know what you do at the urinal. Yeah. So I'm standing there and all of a sudden I hear out of a stall, like in the back right corner, I hear, fuck.
What right? The fuck?
So I my stream just stopped and I'm just like, this is great. This is great. So I'm standing there and I'm just listening. And like you can hear the guy, like you can hear like explosive like diarrhea going on, and this guy's just like, shit, no, are you serious? Fuck, right now, right? And I'm
my
like,
God.
I wonder what the fuck happened. Like, I mean, this guy either shit his pants, like he couldn't get his pants down in time, or some. I don't know what the fuck happened, but this guy was like having the worst time in the stall, and it was hilarious to me. And if I had my phone with me, which I didn't.
You didn't have your phone with you?
No, I would have fucking recorded that shit. I would have stood there for another like 5 minutes and just recorded it.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
So that we could play it. But it was hilarious, and I ended up going back. I just ended up going back to the movie because I didn't really want to miss much, but
Yeah.
I thought that shit was so funny.
Oh, so good.
So
Good.
fuck.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. Well, worst thing I think I've ever seen in that bathroom is that mall. I was there with Pete, and we were going to see, I forgot what movie it was, but I was washing my hands, and as I'm washing my hands, we see a fucking rat or a mouse actually run right through the bathroom and out to the bathroom door, like into the movie theater. And Pete just goes, "Whoa, fuck that guy!" He didn't even wash his hands. He's like, "I'm out of here." It's fucking gross, man. Like,
Oh man, hell yeah! You should always wash your hands.
oh man. But anyway, speaking of washing your hands, did you see the Game of Thrones finale? Because oh man, that movie was fucking amazing. That fucking finale was awesome.
Yes.
I am so psyched about Game of Thrones, man. What they did with it this season, I thought it was so much better than the last season. Like, didn't like hold back at all.
Cersei washed her hands of the Sept of the Seven.
Yes, she did.
Yes, she did.
Yeah. So, and that's basically what I meant by that.
Yeah.
She washed her hands of everything.
Yeah.
She was just like, you know what? Fuck this. And I think I'm done. And dude, when I saw those green barrels, I'm like, shit's gonna.
Oh yeah,
fucked up.
yo, that's like my favorite weapon in Game of Thrones was the wildfire. That shit was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. And it was funny because I knew that I didn't think that what's her face, the queen was gonna die, but she did.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen. I saw
Marjorie?
her. Yeah, Marjorie. Thank you. I was like, okay, I don't see Marjorie dying, but then like 30 seconds passed. I'm like, she's done, and then I was like, oh, well, it makes sense because she hates her,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, she's going down. All these people are going down. I thought it was funny how the king died, where he was just like, fuck me, fuck this. I'm 13 and I can't deal with it.
I'm checking out.
Yeah, and he just literally took his crown off and was like, peace. Just literally, like, dude, fucking belly flopped on the cement. Like, that was pretty fucking funny, actually. I laughed when that happened.
I don't know if you ever saw the IT crowd, but it was just like a scene in the IT crowd.
Yeah, you told me about that, yeah.
Yeah, Renham is sitting in his office and somebody comes in. They're like, "Hey, Renham, the police are here for you. They wanted to talk to you." And he's like, okay, show them right in. And he stands up, fixes his tie, walks over to the window, and just hops out, just like that. And like when I saw that, I just started laughing because that's all I could think about was that IT crowd episode.
That's awesome.
But it was great. But the one of the best things in that episode though was that explosion, in my opinion.
That was probably number one for me. The second best part in that whole episode was when Arya just fucking slit his throat. I was like, because I did not see it coming, dude. I thought that was just some chick that that was helping out in some way. But then when it was Arya, I was like, oh my god, dude! I fucking was jerking off to that scene. It was fucking awesome. It was so cool. I was like, yes, finally! And it was
when
so
Walder
cool that
Frey
it was
was
her.
like. When Walder Frey was like, "Oh, you're not one of mine."
Yeah, you're not one of mine.
You're
They're
too
already
pretty.
here.
He was like,
They're
"You're too
here.
pretty."
Yeah, and I like how because I don't know if that was a real girl that Arya ended up just like stealing the identity of, because at one point, like, if that was Arya wanted to fuck like Jaime.
No.
So,
No, I got something completely different out of that, man.
What?
So I was watching that, and like at first, I thought that's what that look was for, but when you find out that it's Arya, like I really, really think that her mission was to get Walder Frey because he's like on her list, and when she saw Jaime, he's a Lannister, and she was like, 2 for 1. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Like I thought she was just like, she was like, oh yeah, this is my day, you know. And like she tried to like flirt with him to like lure him in, and like every time she saw him, she kept trying to like, you know, get his attention, and that was it.
So you think that's going to happen? Like you think that's going to be like she's eventually going to go for him?
Oh, no, I don't know that she's necessarily going to go out of her way to get Jaime Lannister. Cersei is definitely on her list. I know Tywin was on her list, but Tyrion killed him already.
Yeah.
So he's already out of the picture. I don't know that Tyrion is on her list or anything like that, but I know Cersei is probably on her list for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So she's coming for her.
I mean, I think that Tyrion, dude, becoming... you know, Hand of the Queen, I thought was perfect because now he's secure, you know.
Yeah,
I was always on the fence about that. I was like, okay, well, you know, Daenerys actually trusts him and really likes him as counsel, but I was never sure if he was just gonna kind of get booted at some point.
Yeah.
So the fact that she actually made him, you know, like Hand to the Queen, I like. Actually like made it really it kind of like just made me feel more comfortable. I'm like, okay, like he's with her the whole time,
right?
You know, he's not going anywhere because he kind of just like walked into that,
yeah,
you know, and it was always like, okay, like how long is this gonna last, because he's been like on this journey. So I'm glad that he's actually, you know, kind of like solid in that position now. And the coolest thing to me was at the end where you see all three of them on the boat just going. It's like Daenerys, Tyrion, and, you know, what's his face? My lord. You know, that guy. So I do love these conversations.
Oh, Dorian's the G, though, huh?
Oh, he's a baller.
Yeah, so. I love that breakup scene. That was, like, the dopest breakup scene. He's like, yeah, man, like, you know, I don't really, you're awesome. I don't want to leave. I don't want you to leave without me. All right, sure. You know, I don't know who's going to come after you, but whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he was just like, it was so warrior, you know what I mean? Like, so like it was like, cause I didn't want him to be weepy, and he wasn't. And that was like the coolest shit like ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't know, that conversation was just great.
Yeah.
And her just not even giving a shit made her even look stronger. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But she does.
Yeah.
You know, I think she does.
She does, but she didn't. She even told Tyrion, she was like, I said it and I didn't feel anything.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
But I think that's the, besides you know, her dead husband, I think that's the closest that she's gotten to anything. Like that was somebody that like she was like sexually attracted to, somebody that she like trusted, like, because there were seasons and scenes where she was like laying in bed with him, like telling him shit that probably she shouldn't have been telling him. Right. You know, so I feel like she definitely trusts him. So I think that her not feeling anything is probably going to come back to bite her in the ass. You know, and I really do. I feel like at some point there's going to be some point where I think that decision is going to, like, he's probably going to either be at a point where he has to kill her and maybe doesn't. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's just going to be very strange.
I don't know. It's just, I feel like that's not going to be a thing, because you have, I feel like everybody that she has pushed away has just chased her, like to be back in her life. You know what I mean? Or like wanted to please her enough to like be back in her good graces. You know what I mean? Especially like Jorah Mormont.
Yeah, who just like bounced because he's like, I'm gonna go find a cure
because you told me to.
Yeah, listen, Jorah Mormont. He's just like, Khaleesi, I'm gonna go find a cure. He just left. Like, what is he gonna do? Like, find the cure for like really bad eczema? Like, I just don't understand. Like, yeah, I mean, he's probably gonna come back. I mean, I don't think he's ever gonna get with Daenerys. That's like, he's forever in the friend zone with Khaleesi. But I just don't.
Somebody said, I don't know if it was you or someone else, somebody said that it's looking like she's going to get married to Jon Snow.
Maybe. I don't know if I see
which
that
is
happening.
weird to me. And I said, yeah, but aren't they like brother and sister? And they were like, well, no, Rhaegar was her brother. That would make Jon her nephew, so it would be okay. And I was like, no, it's her nephew. That's not okay, you know? So
Jon Snow. I mean, yeah, maybe, but I don't know. I mean, they just seem.
But then they did make a point that the Targaryens actually, like, their whole kingdom was built on, or their bloodline is built on incestual relationships.
Right.
So it was so her and her brother, I forget his name now. You had Daenerys and I forget his name. But the one that got the pot of molten
gold on his head, yeah.
They were supposed to get married, and that's why it was so weird to her in the beginning when she was being pawned off on Dothraki.
Yeah.
Right. So they were supposed to be a thing, and they were brother and sister. So I guess, I don't know, like, this is just that world, and I guess it would be all right. And it does make sense, because how else do you unite the Seven Kingdoms when he runs? He has control of the North, and she's going to come in and take the Red Keep. Most likely, that's going to be her first.
I mean, it would be a baller power up. I mean,
Yeah.
like that would be. If they coupled up, I think that could be probably one of the coolest like bonds of all time. As far
They
as
would be unstoppable.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's no one that'd be able to take them down.
But you only have 13 episodes left.
Right, and this is technically, from what I'm hearing, it's not. Is it? I don't think it's confirmed. It's the last season. It's been rumored.
No, it's so you have 7 episodes this season, 6 episodes in season 8. So 7 and 8 are going to be 7 episodes and 6 episodes. Mm-hmm. This is what I've heard or read.
Right, but it's not. I don't think it's confirmed that it's the last season.
I have to look, but they have confirmed that it's only 2 seasons left.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, so 7 and 8.
Right. I mean, either way, I mean, Game of Thrones is one of the best shows on TV right now, and just the fact that Ramsay's also got it 2 episodes ago was fucking phenomenal. I can't stand that guy, and I'm so glad he died the way he did.
Yeah, it was great.
I thought they could have gone a little bit more hardcore on him. I mean, like, I thought it would have been awesome if, like, they cut his dick off and, like, fed it to one of the dogs and then let the dogs take him out. Well, because he did that to the other guy. I mean, fuck him, dude. I mean, I just feel like that would have been, like, the ultimate.
No, it was worse what he did to the other guy. So he cut his shit off, right?
Yeah.
And then sat there and ate sausage in front of him.
Yeah.
Pretending like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a dick. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Literally.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just, I don't know. Whatever. But
then had like hot chicks come and like rub up on him.
Yeah, that was the worst part. Like right before he did it, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right after he did it.
Was it after?
I'm pretty sure.
No, I think it was before. Because at that point he was into it. Like he actually thought he was gonna like fuck the girls, and then that's when they like cut his dick off. Like after that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so that's even more fucked up.
It is.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing where this whole journey goes. I want to see Arya and all the Starks back together again, to just like dominate. But Daenerys is I think on top right now.
Right.
She's got that huge fleet, and she's got 3 dragons, and I don't think you're really going to beat dragons. I'm sorry, I don't care how big your army is. You just light them on fire. So, anyway, I do want to jump into Preacher, man, because that's like a pretty awesome series so far.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah. I think they're killing it. I will say, man, as much as I like Ian Coletti's character, I can't stand listening to him talk. It just sounds like he's drowning in his own spit. You know what I mean? Like, I just like, ugh, God, it's gross.
That's why they have subtitles.
Yeah, I know. Every time he talks, yeah.
Which is funny as hell.
Yeah. And I thought it was really fucked up when his dad was like, "You should have just finished the job."
Yeah,
like,
that's in line with his comic book character.
Yeah.
It's kind of tragic, man. Like it's sad because like you can tell he's such a good kid.
Yeah.
And he made a mistake, and it looks like his parents are suffering for it, and it's like you can tell that his father's conflicted.
Yeah.
In the show, in the comic book, you couldn't. Like in the comic book, his father was just a jerk.
Yeah.
Right from from page one till the end, like you never had any sympathy for the dad. You know, the dad was just racist and you know, mean to the kid, and you know, the kid was just always trying to like get approval from dad. You know. So in this show, it's actually I think the show's treating it a little better for me. Like it's actually showing a little bit more humanity from the father, even though the character in the comics was also a possibility in life. I mean, you also have like fathers that are just jerks, but I do like having that other element to share fruit.
Yeah.
But the Santa Killers though,
yeah, they're awesome. I mean, I think they're
no the
Western guy. Yeah. Oh my God, that guy's a baller. I think he's one of the coolest characters I've seen on TV in a while.
Yeah.
So I just like how he has no lines, but awesome at the same time. Does so much, and I like it because it's one of these storylines that I forget about, but then like they put it into each episode, like it's this other storyline you're following, and somehow it's going to connect.
Yeah.
So I like how they're putting that into place, and I'm interested to see where it's going to go. You obviously know where it goes. I don't really want to know too much about it because I just want it to kind of develop.
Right.
But it's just a cool character, man. Like he doesn't. And that tree with all the bodies hanging from it that he passes, like that is just so cool. So, I mean, is his character somebody that's consistent throughout, or is it just like is it a completely separate storyline? Like,
dude, if you think of a Michael Myers or a Jason Voorhees, right?
Yeah,
like that guy that just keeps coming for you, and like even if you beat him, like there's always going to be Friday the 13th Part 22.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, and he's going to show up and he's back. That's the Saint of Killers. The Saint of Killers is like coming for Preacher, and he's always going to be there.
Is there a reason why he's coming for Preacher specifically?
You'll see. You want to watch it unfold, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I don't want to give too much away.
Okay.
I think I already have, but
well, no, that's cool. I mean, I figured there was going to be some kind of connection with Preacher, but
right.
I mean, why? I mean, that's the show. And I do really like the character of Cassidy, man. I think just Cassidy's so cool. I mean, he is still my favorite character.
Cassidy's awesome.
I love where he explained a little bit further. He's like, sunlight. He's like, that's actually legit.
Yeah.
He's like, I gotta like put a hat on. I gotta cover up, you know. But he's like,
he was like, sunscreen was a gift. But
yeah. And I like how he said, what did he say? He's like, you know, that's just the symbol that whatever, blah blah blah. It doesn't really bother me. You know, just like literally laying it out. You know, do you kill people? Unless they, what do you say? It's like unless they're being jerks or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, only if they deserve it.
Only if they deserve it. Yeah, like the whole fucking plane he took out. Oh yeah, dude, he's such a badass character. And I watched that episode 3 twice. And it didn't dawn on me until because I didn't catch it the first time when he tries to chase Preacher out of the church, but then grabs like that Raiden hat.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, well, that makes sense why he's doing that, you know, because he was like, he stepped down, he's like, oh shit, he just like grabbed this like coat and stuff. No, it's just a cool character, man. I'm looking to see what he does because I feel like
funny, man.
He is. He's the comic relief, but I also want to see. But I feel like he's got a good side to him. Like he's not just a straight up asshole.
Right.
He's just kind of doing his own thing. Like he likes getting fucked up on drugs. You know what I mean? And like just like being laid back.
No, like he's a good guy, but he's old, man.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how long he's been a vampire. I want to say about 100 years.
Yeah.
Right? So when you live that long and there's no death around the corner, like there's a certain way that you behave.
Right. I don't think that he
even if you're good, even if you're inherently good, there are certain things that you just don't give a shit about because they don't last.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I think that I mean, it's kind of like everybody around him that he knows is probably dying.
Right.
You know, it's just the same shit every day.
Exactly.
It becomes like a routine. It's kind of like Highlander. You know, like if you watch those movies, he's like, somebody was like, oh, it must be cool to live forever. He's like, you don't want to have this life. He's like, I can't die. He's like, everybody around you dies. The people you love die.
Yeah.
You know, you can't have a life.
Exactly.
And I thought that was like, you know, you think about that. Oh, like being immortal, like that's cool. You don't have to ever worry about dying or getting sick. But at the same time, it's like everything around you just keeps disintegrating. So
yeah, like you probably get numb to people dying. You know what I mean?
yeah, or watching somebody just get sick, and I mean, yeah, it's got to be rough.
But yeah, like I mean, Tulip is awesome.
Tulip is badass.
Yeah,
that is such an awesome character, especially when she comes in and just confronts Preacher about like all this shit in front of people. Like I like how she was vague at first, but then just stopped giving a fuck.
Yeah,
And then he was like, "No, don't leave." He's like, "I can change." He's like, "Don't you want to be good?" And I think like he's making a good point.
Yeah, and
I think Preacher wants to change, or he's just comfortable. He likes being in that comfortable place where like people trust him.
Right.
But I think there's still a part of him, like especially in I think it was the pilot where he just like fucked up that guy in the bar.
Right.
Like that was cool to see that side of him too.
And he liked it.
Yeah, and he so that kind of was like that's like that conflict that he's got.
But the cool thing about it is that it's like this voice of God that he has, right? Is like it's corrupting him again.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely enjoying using it.
Right.
He's finding creative ways to use it. Now, everything that he's used it for so far has been something good.
Well, what he thinks is good.
Right, but it's still his agenda.
Right, yeah, it's not like God's agenda.
Right.
Then the other thing that I thought was interesting too is when those two guys that are from heaven, they're talking to him and they're basically explaining to him. They're like, "Oh, I forgot what he said," and he was like, "No, you don't understand." He's like, "What you have inside you," he's like, "the power you have inside you is not God." Right. And then you saw like the look on his face, like he was like really intrigued, like, okay, then what is this? Because I think he actually thought it was good, like it was God, like maybe God entrusted it, or basically gave him this power that he could use for good, and now he's realizing that it's not what he thought it was. I think he might have a different agenda, or be a little bit less quick to actually use what he has. So I mean, and I'm interested to see if he's actually going to help that girl that's been like paralyzed or whatever, because it looks like that was going to happen, and they haven't gone back to that.
Yeah, I mean, you saw her ahead. I mean, like, I don't know how much he can really like help her.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I don't know if his powers are that powerful, like where if they can actually like heal in some ways,
right?
Or it just forces somebody to do something. Like I said, I've never read the Preacher comics, so I don't know if that's
his
a possibility.
Power goes. I mean, in the comics, his power goes as far as being able to tell people to do shit.
Okay,
you know what I mean, and whatever he tells you to do, you do.
And
you do it forever, indefinitely.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, this is a different Preacher, really. So we really don't know. It's a lot like how The Walking Dead is deviated from the comics,
right?
Like big time. The Preacher TV series is kind of doing the same thing and kind of making its own way.
Yeah. Now, does the scene where he tells that woman to like forgive him. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that was? I was obviously forced upon her, but do you feel like does it physically make her do things, or like mentally did she actually forgive him? Because that's what I couldn't figure out. Was it just like she had to go through the motions, or did it actually change the way she thought about him?
I think she forgave him for sure, like really forgave him, right?
Yeah.
But I think she's aware that she wouldn't have
if it wasn't forced upon her.
Right.
Okay.
I think she ended up being confused, like, why am I forgiving this guy, but I'm going to forgive him? You know what I mean? Like I have to forgive him, but I don't know why. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I have no reason to, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with this guy forgetting the girl that he, I guess, molested. Is that I'm wondering if like what his deal was with that girl.
I think it
on
was,
the bus. Was it? Was
I think it was molesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So like he forgot her,
mm-hmm.
but he knew something was off. He knew something happened because he was like, "What did you do to me? What did you do to me, Preacher?" Right? And same thing with this guy with putting the gun in his mouth. Right? He had no choice, and
he's all fucked up from that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, who's the chick that he was with, like outside that school or whatever? He was like crying on her. Who's that girl? Remember they were like having lunch and he's like, Preacher has this power and he made me put the gun in my mouth and I couldn't do anything about it. And she's like, Preacher's going to get what's coming to him.
That's his wife.
Yeah, but like, what is her agenda?
I don't know.
Because she was like, Preacher will get what he deserves. I'm like, all right, well, who the fuck's this guy?
Yeah, those are new characters for the show. Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that was a little trippy. I don't know. I really like what they're doing with it. I mean, I think Preacher is probably one of the more interesting shows on TV right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like everybody that I've talked to says that they like love it. You know, like they really like what Preacher's doing. I mean, AMC's come a long way, man. And dude, I haven't watched the latest episode, but Outcast is fucking awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, and you know what's funny is I think I told you this last week, but like I recommended Outcast to my mother, and she watched it and loves it. She's like, but my mother is like a huge, like, she's a big fan of The Exorcist. You know, like she loves all that like creepy shit.
Right.
So she was like, oh, Outcast. She's like, it's so twisted. She's like, but I love it. And I'm like, awesome that you're actually watching that. But it's really well done. I mean, it's Kirkman, so
yeah.
I mean, you know. Do you know what's funny, man? So the other day when I told Jim, Jim watched your video about when you met Kirkman, and he goes, I want to read Battle Pope. He goes, that actually looks fucking awesome. He's like, the Pope's holding like these two guns.
Yeah.
Like Jim's like, I gotta fucking check that out.
It's actually good.
Is it good?
Yeah, because I bought it and I read it and I thought after I read it I was like, okay, well this was worth it.
Yeah, but when you got it, you were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Why? I literally bought it so that he would leave me alone.
Yeah,
yeah, so that Robert Kirkman would leave me alone.
Yeah,
yeah,
totally. You know, choices that you regret.
Right.
Jesus,
we've all made them. We've all made these choices in life, and you know, you learn from them.
Yeah. Oh man, but Outcast.
Now I think that shaped my world from there, because now I'm like super open to meeting new people, and I don't care how crazy they are. I'm just like, right. So what do you do? What's your, you know, I just want to know, like, you know, like what they're into. You know what I mean? Like it's like I can literally say that Kirkman changed my life.
All right, well that's cool in a different way than from The Walking Dead.
Right. Yeah.
Just changed your life because he's famous and you met him and you judged him. Like, that's basically what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it stopped me from being judgmental. Yeah. Yeah. And
I want to know how this guy. But okay, so you see him at a convention and he's handing out ash cans, and then he's selling his like graphic novel or comic book, Battle Pope. When, like, how do you think, well, you obviously know, how did the whole Walking Dead phenomenon pick up for him? I mean, like, he must have just got this comic book out there.
No, he started doing it, like, later on. So, like, Battle Pope came out, then you had Battle Pope, then Tech Jacket, then he did some work for Marvel, I'm trying to remember exactly what it was. I can't remember what it was exactly. I think Gravity was the character that he created from Marvel Comics. Then we got Invincible, and Invincible was like his big book,
like his claim to fame.
Yeah, Invincible is pretty cool. It's a story about the kid of a superhero who ends up being like this threat to the universe, and to the planet Earth, and the kid ends up having to fight his father, and because the kid actually has his father's powers. So you have to read it to actually get into like the whole story, but it's really cool. They have a lot of he basically built his own superhero universe. It's like it's populated with like just as many characters as the Marvel universe and the DC universe, but it's the Invincible universe. So you can look it up. It's actually a really cool book. But after that, like, he decided to do something in the horror genre and wanted to do The Walking Dead. And he did that, and it took off from there. But it was an experiment, really, and he knew that he wasn't going to stop doing it. Like, it was just going to be, hey, we're going to hit the ground running, and, you know, we're just going to do as many issues as we can until we don't have any more story to tell. So he has the ending in mind, but I don't know that he has a definitive time as to when he's going to end it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He knows how it's going to end already. But the book it's a black and white book. And from what I heard, now this is a story that I read that he pitched the idea of The Walking Dead, and somebody was just like, "Does it have to be zombies?"
Okay.
And Kirkman was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. That's called The Walking Dead.
Yeah, so somebody wanted it to be aliens, right? They were like, "Can it be aliens?" Right? And I guess like that was just a
That changes everything.
it does.
Like there's no similarity at all.
Well, honestly and truly, it doesn't really change much in the sense that the walkers are not the key focus of the story. But it's the and like you can totally have, if you look at, have you ever seen Falling Skies?
Yeah.
Great show. But very similar in the sense that you have like humans joining together in a post-apocalyptic world, in this case taken over by aliens as opposed to zombies, and you still have like factions of humanity that are not necessarily trustworthy. You have to earn each other's trust. You don't know like who you can like hang out with, who's gonna. So I mean, technically, it's just you're just changing the event and the catalyst to like what causes the human interaction that we're getting in The Walking Dead. So it doesn't really change it too much, but his focus was I want to do it with zombies, and that's what we're doing. Right. And I'm glad he did, because now we have Falling Skies too, because you probably wouldn't be able to do Falling Skies if Kirkman did The Walking Dead with aliens.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel like it makes sense. I mean, I could not see it with aliens. I don't know. There's so much differences. I mean, you're bringing in a whole other. Okay, you bring in then it brings in like space. It brings in like where are these coming from? Different types of aliens. How did they get here? Do they have ships? Like it just doesn't make too much sense to me. Where I feel like this is a contained thing that is just earthbound.
Right.
And I like that it's kind of contained to that, because it's like, oh well, why are these aliens here? Like, are they could just leave? It didn't really. I don't know where that would go. I mean, but that's why it hasn't happened.
But yeah, The Walking Dead blew up from there. He actually has, I think it's number 75. The 75th issue is still a black and white book. Actually, no, the 75th issue might actually be in color. Okay. And it has aliens in it, and it turns into an alien invasion book because I think it's Rick gets knocked out or some shit, and like this is like a fever dream that he's having. And it's like, it's basically it's an issue where he tells the story from the perspective of the person that made the suggestion that it should be aliens instead of zombies. And I thought it was really cool. Like, it was a cool little divergence from the actual story.
Yeah.
But it was in color. It had, Michonne was like, had laser swords, and it was like, it was crazy. It was the craziest shit.
Michonne was a Jedi.
Dude, it was the craziest shit. Super crazy. But yeah, man, like, so that's that. Did you have anything else today?
No, man. I mean, I definitely want to mention the fact that we did some major updates to our RedBeard Podcast. So if you guys have not been on RedBeardPodcast.com, check it out. We've completely redesigned the site. It looks great. We have a new logo. We have you can actually see our new banner and our new logo on Twitter, so at RedBeard Podcast. We also have organized it in a way where you can definitely separate everything from movies to podcasts to things that are just, like random things that we like to kind of put out there for you guys as well. There's links to where all the different sources that we have our podcast on. So Stitcher, Spreaker, iTunes, you guys can check that out. And also we have links to all of our social media. So if you guys want to follow us, and we would appreciate that, like, comment, subscribe, follow us everywhere you can. Give us, show some support if you enjoy the podcast. We would appreciate it. And I do want to give a shout out to a couple people. One being Jay Costa, who actually did our new intro for our show. So it's actually a character of his, Uncle Lou, that actually he's doing, but it kicks ass, and we just want to thank Jay for doing that. And
he's the front man of Thy Will Be Done.
Hell yeah, man.
A heavy metal band that if you are at all a heavy metal fan and you're at all in your 40s, you'll remember this from Headbangers Ball. They are and they're still kicking ass now.
Hell yeah.
So definitely check them out. You can purchase their albums and stuff like that. They're great.
And I will say, if you're in doubt of Thy Will Be Done, I will say this is a cool fun fact, is that this is no joke. They were requested by Metallica to open for them, and they opened by Metallica and like hung out with them. So they literally, like, Metallica heard them on the radio and said and got a hold of them and basically said they wanted them to open for them.
Right.
So and he said that he hung out with the entire, Hetfield and the band, and said that they were all super awesome guys. But I mean, his band kicks ass. So check it out. Thy Will Be Done. And the guy who helped us out with the site, man.
Johnny Rivera, local guy here in Rhode Island. He helped us out with setting up this WordPress site. We were using a theme before, just like, a theme that I found online, and it basically, didn't really separate us from the crowd. Like, this is something that I think is, a lot more streamlined and a lot more, geared towards what we're trying to do. And it's unique. Like, it's not something that, everybody, it's not something that you're going to find in other places. Like, it's a unique site made for us by Johnny Rivera. So I appreciate Johnny's help on that, and also Craig Russo for helping me with the logo.
The logo,
design.
I was just going to mention that. Yeah, that was kick ass. So that logo was so badass.
He's a guy from Massachusetts that actually works for. He does some work for Marvel Comics and some independent work as well. Most of the stuff that you're going to see from Craig is going to be. From the Marvel Universe line of books, like that covers, like, the books that are or Marvel Adventures, like the stuff that you would find, like, that's based on the cartoons and stuff like that. But he's a phenomenal artist, and he captured our likeness pretty well. Even though he said that he can't do likenesses, I think he was pretty spot on with us. So kudos and thank you very much to you guys. Because that definitely helped us out with our soft relaunch.
So we have a lot of different interviews that we've been doing. If you guys haven't checked out the past couple episodes, last episode we had Tracy Birdsall on. She's in a new film coming out called Rogue Warrior Robot Fighter. And we also had Justin Sloan on, who worked for Telltale Games. We've had Roberto Gonzalez back on from Steambox RI. Right. And we also had Todd Braley on, who... is just a director, producer, writer, DJ. The guy does everything. So, guys, just make sure you check out those interviews. They're really a lot of cool information, a lot of new projects that are coming out. And yes, we are doing a lot of new video. So make sure you guys keep checking out our videos. We do have a YouTube channel as well, so make sure you subscribe to that.
Right.
But other than that, once again, everybody have an awesome 4th of July weekend. Go, do your cookout thing, do your firework thing, and just live it up, man. And we will catch you guys next week.
Try not to pull a Jason Pierre-Paul, by the way. Huh? Be safe. Be safe.
Yeah, put the firework down, light it, and run.
Hire somebody to do it.
Yeah, don't hold the firework and light it. Yeah, definitely. But on that note, I think I'm out.
Me too.
All right. Later, guys.
Peace.
Later.